Hi, my name is Signe Friedrichs. I'm the Executive Director of Artspace Herndon. I'm here to welcome you to Threaded with Green, a multimedia exhibit of textile works at Artspace Herndon. This exhibit is presented by the Center Street Cotton Collective and is an exhibit of amazing quilts. We hope you'll join us. The exhibit remains here at Artspace through February 14th. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Dori Emmer. I'm the organizer of the Threaded with Green exhibit currently on at Artspace in Herndon. It's on until February the 14th, so I'd want to invite you to come on over and enjoy the fibre art that's hanging on the walls here. There's a variety of styles ranging from very traditional to very contemporary, and they are all intended as art, not necessarily as pieces that are going to keep you warm on a cold night on your bed. As well as organising and curating the show, I do myself have 8 pieces hanging. Some of them are small, some of them are large. There's a couple that have attracted a lot of attention that I'll just share a few details about. One of them is called Poppies for JPC. That one is dedicated to my grandfather who fought in World War I in the New Zealand Army. It was based on an online project. Each month, Danielle Bohannon, whose idea this was, would provide a block pattern and a story that she had written based on letters her great-uncle sent home from the war. Her design and idea was made in red, white, and blue. I decided to make mine in the colours, based on the colours of my grandfather's army uniform, which was this khaki green, which is very striking. It's a difficult colour to match, but it worked out really well. I used also the red from the poppies. Everybody associates poppies particularly with World War I, and they give a good pop of colour. The very centre of the quilt is based on a very tiny 1-inch little, it's not a medal, part of his uniform that was clipped on the collar of the dress jacket, and I took that pattern and I blew it up quite a lot to make the centre 20-inch or so block. That too made it very different than the others that were made in that project. So there's a lot of little personal touches in there. I did not personally quilt it. I had it quilted by a long arm quilter, but I gave her input. For instance, there's certain words, there's his name and his unit, some of the where he fought are stitched into the quilt. So that again makes it very personal and something for the family to have through the years. And another piece that's also family, St. Patrick's Day. For perhaps 20 years, I've been in an international group of 7 or 8 quilters, and we make what are called round-robin quilts. We called ourselves the Remarkable Robins. A round-robin quilt is where each person in the group makes a portion of for a quilt and then passes it on to the next person. So everyone ends up with a quilt, but everyone else in the group has made a portion of it. St. Patrick's Day started, everyone was meant to choose a holiday that they wanted to focus on. My sister chose St. Patrick's Day, and then she made the small 6-inch centre and then passed it on to the next person. So 4 more people made a large block. Then it was my turn. I was given this fabric that I had to use, which was potatoes. And I thought, That's not a fabric I would have chosen to buy, but look, I've got to use it, so I turned it into what I called the meatless Irish stew by combining it with other vegetable fabrics, and it became the sashing of the centre. And the last person finished it by sewing those pieces together and putting the border on. So it's quite a conversation starter when you look at it. There's several things in there that will strike your interest. There are 81 pieces hanging here in the exhibit. Many of them are from a group challenge. There's one big one, There Is a Season. We had 12 different quilters, and they made a quilt for each of the 4 seasons. On the front wall is an installation called Threads. They were all to be long, narrow pieces that would highlight the different variety of styles that quilters in our group are using these days. So come on over, see the exhibit. Don't forget to have a look at everything.
Hi, I'm Cecile Batchelor, and I am one of the artists, and my work, entitled The Mechanics of Nature, is in the threads portion of this quilt show. My piece is it actually is 3 pieces. It's called a triptych. And I was invited to participate in this quilt exhibition by Dory Emmer, who serves as the curator. And her requirement to all of us was that we could make a long, narrow quilt, not more than 12 inches wide. So instead of making one, I made 3, and they are 10 inches, 6 inches, and 6 inches wide. But together they make a larger composition. And I titled my piece "The Mechanics of Nature" because I've always been very interested in how the interdependent work of nature is so important to its survival. That one piece of the interdependent web of all life is so dependent on so many other pieces. And so these 3 pieces are really, while they each could stand alone, they are dependent on one another to form a composition. And I hope you enjoy it.
Okay.
Hello, I am Gertrude Dixon Sherman, a resident of Reston, Virginia. I am here at the Artspace Herndon Gallery. I heard about the gallery through Dory Emmer, and we are members of the Reston Quilters Unlimited group. At one meeting, Dory asked if any members had a quilt with green in it, or they were working on a quilt with green in it. And if so, would we be interested in showing it in the exhibition she was getting together, which is All Things Green. And so I decided to enter a quilt that I made in honor and memory of my husband, Everett J. Sherman, Jr. It's made from his ties and buttons from his shirts, have photographs on there, have patches or badges on there also. One big patch is from the back of his jean jacket that has one of other characters on it that he loved dearly and he wore all the time. As a matter of fact, some of the characters are somewhat, the embroidery floss is somewhat deteriorating, and I thought about patching it up, but I said, no, I'm going to leave it like this. So I cut it off the jacket, and that's on the quilt. And then there's a beautiful badge or patch that is embroidered and is all brand new, so it looks so fresh. and that was presented to Everett and along with other team members in appreciation for the work they did going back into the Pentagon in 9/11. He and the team had to get everything ready, the computers, the electrical equipment, the telephones, getting the cable all set up again. Everett had worked on that renovation project for many years, and he was very much involved with all the individuals that were in that portion of the building that was hit. So he lost a lot of members, very tragic experience. And it just brings to my remembrance or my thinking how grateful we were, because Everett was always in that building every day, every morning from the beginning of the day. And that particular morning, he was in his office, which was in a parko, quite a distance from the building, because it was still in renovation. He said when he was leaving to go to the building, the telephone rang. And he was on the telephone having a conversation when that building was hit. So we were just grateful, but so sad for those who lost their lives and their families, because again, he knew so many of them. So it really impacted him greatly. As I mentioned, Dory Emmer and introduced me to this gallery, and we are members of the Reston Quilters Unlimited. And it's a great exhibition. If you haven't had a chance to come over, come and see it. There are 81 quilts on exhibition. So I hope you consider dropping by. Thank you.